What was Brooklyn King Radio? It was pirate radio frequency 1002.96. It was raw. It was crazy. It wasn't hood. It was neighborhood. See, if it was going down in New York City or any of the 5 boroughs, we were on it. Before there were podcasts, there was Shoutcast Radio. Before there was iTunes, there was Winamp and LimeWire. And before there was anything called the Breakfast Club, there was already a show in New York with 2 crazy guys and 1 woman keeping it all together. These are the archives of Brooklyn King Radio, the wildest show that you never heard of.
I mean, of course you got the immortal Hulk Hogan. I mean, whatever. Hogan was the fucking man. He had superpowers and shit. You start beating his ass and shit, and he start hulking up and shit like that, you know, losing his fucking mind. For some weird reason, once Hulk Hogan starts hulking up and shit, you can't fucking kill him. It's like you can shoot him and he'll just keep hulking the fuck up and shit, doing that bullshit. But Hulk Hogan was not the man. The man to me was a fucking Ultimate Warrior. Yo, this motherfucker came from parts unknown. You can't beat that shit. That right there, I was like, this nigga's the man. So the Ultimate Warrior used to run into the ring, fuck you up, and run out. And then he would run off back to parts unknown. You know where the fuck he was going. I remember one time they was looking for the Ultimate Warrior and shit. He was actually in a cave. Because what happened was him and Papa Shango got into it. Papa Shango and shit put a voodoo curse on the Ultimate Warrior and shit. So the Ultimate Warrior was losing his powers. So he had to go back to the caves. So that nigga went to the cave, and Mean Gene Okerlund and shit, that motherfucker was like, we're in a cave right now looking for the Ultimate Warrior, and we don't know where he is, but it's freezing cold up here. That motherfucker went into a cave, and the Ultimate Warrior just sitting in front of a fire and shit. All you saw was that nigga back. And this nigga's back was huge, yo. The Ultimate Warrior, that nigga probably took so much roids, it wasn't even fucking funny. Oh God, that nigga's nipples used to be white. That's fucking crazy. And the Ultimate Warrior used to always say some deep philosophical shit. That nigga was like the best fucking talking motherfucker ever, yo. The Ultimate Warrior, the man. Yo, I'm telling you, to all you cats out there that fucking remember fucking wrestling, man, yo, you can't even front. The Ultimate Warrior used to say some fucking dope shit. And Mean Gene was like, Warrior, are you okay? And Mother Warrior just looked at him and shit. And then he just sat back and looked at the fire some more. Warrior asked, are you okay? Are you all right? Do not disturb me, Mean Gene. I would just do that shit. And that motherfucker used to be every time this nigga would talk, this nigga would just flex, and everything was a flex with the Warrior and shit. Do not disturb me, Mean Gene. I am using the Warrior's powers to fortify my fucking strength. That motherfucker used to start talking that bullshit. And as he was talking, this nigga would just get bigger and bigger. It's fucking crazy. That motherfucker like, whoa, Warrior, Papa Shango, he's running amok in the WWF. He's already set people's feet on fire. This motherfucker has set people's feet on fire for like 2 weeks now and shit, man. That motherfucker's like, I can assure you, that motherfucker said, I can assure you, Mean Gene, that no amount of voodoo will fucking save Papa Shango. That niggas he talking that shit. I be hanging on to every fucking word. That nigga Ultimate Warrior was the fucking man. That nigga was a fucking man, yo. That shit was real. Then one day that nigga left, parts unknown, that nigga's gone. Now, wrestling fucking sucks.